Okay, I see our first statement, or I don't know if it's a question or a statement, but let me just read it here. In addition to Shanks' griffin or gryphon, whatever you want to call it, sword, possibly having eaten a devil fruit, and is the mythical guardian Zoan. What do you think about Ben Beckman's rifle having some sort of monster devil fruit too? Okay, great question by Joe D. South. Well, when it comes to Ben Beckman, this is what we know so far. We know he's the moon to Shanks, so it's kind of like Oda's already hyped him up in data booklets and whatnot. And when he did point his rifle at Kizaru did take notice and he did see it as a threat. Now, the reason why this is interesting is because Yasop's the sniper on the Red Hair Pirates, guys. The fact that Yasop's a sniper in the Red Hair Pirates, and we finally seen Yasop do something, not just in filler, we seen him do it recently against Bartolomeo's ship, where from a distance where Shanks was trying to show mercy, Yasop comes out of nowhere and snipes the ship and destroys the ship completely. So that was cool. That was intense. That was hype. That was lit. Now, the fact that Yasop's a sniper and he has that insane power, and Ben Beckman's the vice captain above Yasop and Lucky Roo, and his bounty is gonna be crazy. And even the brand new and the world government has always hyped up the Red Hair Pirates to be very strong when it comes to the core group members. So Ben Beckman's gonna be a monster. He's gonna be probably not. He's probably gonna be Admiral level if I'm being completely honest. The same way that Shanks was like high tier Yonko level. Honestly, sometimes it looks like Shanks' Parking level. Not glazing, but it's just sometimes how it looks. But yes, if you guys want, when it comes to Ben Beckman, I personally feel like there's something. I don't know if there's gonna be Del Fruits when it comes to Lucky Roo, Ben Beckman, and Yasop. Though I wouldn't mind Del Fruits. I don't know because of the whole like theme of Luffy not eating Del Fruit to join, being able to swim to join the crew. But if Ben Beckman does have a Del Fruit, I wouldn't mind it being on his rifle. So yeah, his and then the whole Cerberus Shamrock kind of opens the doors to like some hype Del Fruits and weapons. But the thing is, Vegapunk recently discovered this. This is like a world government thing, if we're being completely honest. So I don't know if Oda's gonna really tap into the weapons and Delphros unless there's some. We know Ben Beckman was the highest IQ at the end of the Alabasta saga when it comes to characters. So unless he was able to put a Delphro in his rifle, and the Red Hair Pirates have found so much treasure on their journey in the new world. So my take is it would be hype if he's able to do it, but right now I'm not too sure if Oda's gonna go that route. I think the haki specialist thing is a little cool idea, but we'll see. Honestly, I'm a fan of both, if I'm being completely honest. But when it comes to Ben Beckman, yes, he did take Kid's arm clear off, and that I still want to see that. They alluded to it when Kid pulled up on Elbaf, but I want to see it. Maybe Kid will mention it to Luffy or like to someone on Elbaf. I think Kid coming to Elbaf is gonna be a cool plot line. Like we got this Nika lore right now, and with the Atom Tree and all these things and all the hype, but there's still way more hype things coming on the way, guys. I'm telling you guys right now, there's a lot of hype for One Piece. I think a lot of the red hair pirates have Delph fruit weapons. I'll be honest with you, that would make more sense than them having Delph fruits. Their weapons having Delph fruits would make more sense. I just don't know if Oda's gonna go that route. And the whole I noticed when Law fought Blackbeard, Law kind of noticed that his crew had some insane Delph fruit abilities that they just recently acquired, and kind of told Blackbeard like that's gonna be a weakness when it comes to the swimming and whatnot. But then of course Blackbeard says I don't care. The trade off is worth it. So I think Oda might go the route of Haki versus Delphers when it comes to Blackbeard versus the Red Hair Pirates. That fight is supposed to happen. I think should happen during Elbaf, honestly. People think it's after Elbaf. I think during Elbaf is when we get Blackbeard versus Red Hair Pirates, if I'm being completely honest. So is Dragon the man marked by flames, or who is it? Well, when it comes to the man marked by flames, we know a lot of things about him. Like he's on a ship, a black ship, able to cause cyclones or typhoons in the water. Blackbeard pirates are after him. Useless Kid is after him. And how do I say this? Aokiji can't be the man marked by flame because he recently was marked by flames. It seems to be some sort of burn mark. Now, Dragon does look like a really good candidate. The only problem when it comes to Dragon being the man marked by flames is how do I say this? Dragon, we see him a lot of times. He's not on a ship and he's not causing cyclones. Yes, he has that wind delta like kind of like alluded to, but we don't see him really like thwarting people off of trying to get this road poneglyph. It looks like this guy is actually a protector or a guardian of the road poneglyph. And I think this road poneglyph, it would have to be someone that's connected to the Roger Pirates, in my opinion. Like if anything, how do I say this? Scarpa Gabon is a really good candidate, especially if it's the guy with the Wano hat. It's Scarpa Gabon in the recent chapter 1138. If that's who it is, That is gonna be hype, guys, if I'm being completely honest. But right now, when it comes to the man marked by flames, I'm not too sure if Oda wants to go the route of Drake. I think Oda wants to go the route more so of someone new, a character not necessarily new, but a character that we haven't really had a lot of. And Dragon is definitely a character we haven't had a lot of, but we can establish who Dragon is. I think that's where the direction Oda's gonna go, and I think it's gonna be a character that, like, how do I say this? You have to understand that Roger Pirates are the ones who knew where the road pornographs are, so I think that it could be a character related to Shanks as well too. I think Shanks meeting an old friend. It could be. I honestly think it's Scott Vagabond. I think the man Martha Flame is Scott Vagabond, but of course it could be someone else, and we just gotta wait and see with that. Yeah, the thing with Saul is marked by flames, but it kind of looks like how do I say this? It doesn't look, when it comes to the description of Saul, it doesn't look like it's him. If I'm being completely honest, the way the cyclones and everything, and we're seeing Saul now, and like it would kind of not be as hype if it was Saul. If I'm being completely honest, like it just wouldn't be as hype. You hype of the man marked by flames after Wano, you got to give us that payout, and I think Scopper is that payout. I think honestly, Scopper makes a lot of sense. I think Scopper is more hype him being the man marked by flames than Dragon. If I'm being honest, Dragon is just hype in general. Like he just seeing him do anything is hype. So I think give the man marked by flames to Scopper. Give Dragon his old Emu stuff and revolutionaries and holy knights and everything. Give Dragon that stuff. That's what we have to understand. This person is holding the last road poneglyph, and how do I say this in the right context? Honestly, it looks like Dragon is now about to care about the One Piece. That's why we had chapter 1121, that iconic panel of trying to claim the One Piece, and Dragon making his move at the end of 1125. Oda is trying to point out that Dragon is now officially going for the One Piece because of what Vegapunk's message. So it doesn't look like Dragon would be having the road poneglyph and protecting it. Though it is a chance, like there's a slim chance anything can happen in One Piece, I just don't see that happening, honestly. So yeah. Okay, when is the Grand Fleet going to pop out? Honestly, everyone was expecting the Grand Fleet to pop out during Wano. That was one of the biggest things we were all expecting. Okay, the Grand Fleet's gonna come. The Grand Fleet's gonna come. But I quickly realized that Kaido we kind of didn't need the Grand Fleet because of the Alliance. We had Law, we had the Minks, we had the Red Scabbards. Like, we honestly didn't need the Alliance. We didn't need the Grand Fleet. It would have helped the Grand Fleet in the battle, but I genuinely believe, okay, we didn't actually need it. It wasn't a need. It was more so of a want against Kaido and Big Mom. If Big Mom's crew joined the battle, we would need the Grand Fleet for sure, but that wasn't the case. Now, honestly, I don't think the Grand Fleet's coming to Elbaf. I just don't see that happening. And with Bartolomeo getting his ship destroyed recently, I think Oda is kind of doing like a catalyst thing where after Elbaf is where we're going to see the Grand Fleet. And you guys all saw, whatchamacallit, you guys all saw recently that mural and all the different races and whatnot. We're going to see something cool with the Grand Fleet and Luffy's allies, the Minks, Fishmen, when it comes to that as well. We're gonna see Skypians too. Like, people are forgetting about Skypians. Wiper is coming back, guys, and people underrate how strong Whitebeard is, yo. That Shandian was cooking on Skypiea. Like, when his interactions with Luffy, his interactions with Zoro, his interactions with Enel, he was the first character to actually damage Enel. Like, Kamakiri was crying about it, and then Wipers comes out of nowhere, that rejectile and Sea Prism Stone, and pretty much kills Enel, but he's able to revive his heart, just showing how deadly Enel is. Like, people also underrate Enel as well. Like, Skypiea had some monsters, had some good hitters. In my opinion, Enel, Wiper, Ohm was pretty good too. Shura was good too as well, but he got one-shotted by Wiper, so definitely you gotta understand, like, Skypiea had some monsters, and definitely Skypiea is gonna be hyping up Aruj. Aruj is gonna be a big player when it comes to the final war. You guys also those wings in the mural, and then Enel's mural in the cover story. If you haven't read Enel's cover story, what are you doing? Please read Enel's cover story. Mad Monk Aruj is gonna be a big player when it comes to Luffy and the worst generation. Think about this when it comes to the worst. Let me break down the worst generation for you guys. We had, going into Punk Hazard, Law. Law was our first worst generation member. Then we got all the way up into Whole Cake Island. We got Capone. That's our second worst generation member. Then we got all the way in Wano, Eustace Kid, Killer, Hawkins, Apu, X Drake. That's 5. Now we're up to a total of 7 worst generation members. That leaves 2 left. Egg Island, we get Jewelry Bonnie. She's still with us. That leaves one more left, and that's Mad Monk Rouge. Well, actually, two more left if you count Blackbeard. But yeah, Mad Monk Rouge is gonna be Elbaf, guys. We saw him last time we saw him. He was chilling on a sky island. He's probably gonna be in the Heaven Realm. They didn't just mention the Heaven Realm for no reason. People are forgetting about the Heaven Realm, for goodness sakes. That's gonna be Mad Monk Rouge written all over it, mentioning Burka. And people don't understand. Reread Skypiea, and Nell talks about a lot of voice entry stuff in Skypiea. He just does it in a code. And the fact that Nell talks about this stuff, Rouge has to have some voice entry lore to add on to it from his home island. That's the only reason why Anel wanted to go to the moon. He learned about it in his home islands, and then he destroyed it after. And Captain McKinley, the White Beret, said that there was a strong Sky Knight that even got defeated by Anel. That's obviously Mad Monk Rouge. So we're gonna get Rouge in this arc. Final Worst Generation member before we head to Blackbeard, and he's gonna do a lot for the One Piece lore. He's gonna do a lot for his power too. He defeated Snack, for goodness sakes, and fought Cracker right after. He's a monster, and even Brule had to give respect to Mad Monk Rouge's power. It's gonna be legit. I think Mad Monk Rouge is gonna be the hypest. Share the Rouge. It's gonna be one of the hypest Worst Generation members, a part of the crew. So I can't wait to see that. And he's gonna be a big part when it comes to just learning about the past, Void Century, and the future when it comes to this final war. I think a Rouge will be with Luffy, honestly. And if a Rouge is not with Luffy, I think he's gonna be kind of like an anti-hero, switching sides like a little bit back and forth and whatnot. But yeah, I'm a big fan of a Rouge, honestly, guys. I think Dragon Zelf, who can manipulate the ocean, has something to do with the Sea King that took Shanks' arm. How do I say this? I think the Sea King that took Shanks' arm is not going to be a big player when it comes to Luffy. One-shotted him in the beginning. And I think that we already got that answered a little bit. The editor just wanted it to be cool if Shanks lost his arm. And I agree with the editor. You know, a lot of people don't agree with that editor doing that because it just doesn't make sense power scaling for Shanks to lose his arm to a character that Luffy one-shotted in chapter 1, the same exact chapter. But the reason why I agree with it is because it brought emotional depth to the story. And if you had to sacrifice power scaling, power scaling making sense logically for emotional depth, I'll take that any day of the week when it comes to One Piece, guys. Like, One Piece is not really a power scaling series, even though it does have power scaling. It's like the emotional depth is way better in my opinion. Plot twist: Big Mom is innocent of eating those kids and will be a straw hat ally in Elbaf. Honestly, I think Big Mom, if Big Mom just comes to Elbaf, there's gonna be a lot of people mad. People don't like Big Mom. Like, I'm telling you guys right now, in the One Piece fan base, people do not like Big Mom. And the reason for not liking Big Mom, how do I say this I'm trying to put this in the right context. Well, one of the reasons they don't like Big Mom is because they just felt like she was annoying when it comes to Whole Cake Island and her sickness and her starvation and her like just being a non-factor. If I'm being completely honest, Big Mom wasn't really a huge factor. She was a huge factor, but she wasn't really like a main factor. Like the Whole Cake Island really main factor was Katakuri. Let's just keep it real. Katakuri was showing out his Conqueror's haki, his observation haki with Future Sight, his awakened Devil Fruit. Like, he was the main factor. Yes, he wasn't strong like the Big Mom, but he was the main factor in Whole Cake Island. So a lot of people didn't like Big Mom for just being an L. Like, you're a Yonko in your arc and you're being an L. She had a great flashback that fleshed out her character. And then we get to Wano and then the whole mother mode thing and like losing her memories and King punking the ship. And then like, how to say this, like, I think that's the reason why I don't like Big Mom. Now, me personally, I like Big Mom because I look at Big Mom as a comedic relief character that's incredibly powerful. She kind of reminds me of Queen. She's like a stronger version of Queen. I love Queen as a character, but I know Queen is a comedic relief character. Gonna have a lot of wacky moments, gonna have a lot of funny moments. It's kind of like that with Big Mom. But she's just so powerful to see her in that state. It's like, what is happening? Now, Big Mom and Elbaf is gonna be cool because, how do I say this? She wanted Loki on her crew, first of all. She wanted that strongest giant in her crew. And then definitely there's going to be a lot of Big Mom lore when it comes to King Harold. And I think King Harold was trying to maneuver that relationship of Loki and Big Mom, honestly. I think Big Mom can open the doors to exploring more of Elbaf's peoples, in a sense, giants in a sense. We know they have a relationship, Big Mom. She killed one of the legendary Elbaf giant pirate captains, Joru. So Yeah, I'm a fan of Big Mom coming back, but I just think that she has to lose. Like when Big Mom comes back to Elbaf, she has to lose right away. She can't be a main character in Elbaf. And whatever character that may be, is if it's Yusa's kid doubling back and beating Big Mom to get some respect back, that would be cool. If it's Luffy who said he was gonna be Big Mom, that would be even amazing. But she needs to be defeated. If it's a villain like Shamrock goes out of nowhere and beats Big Mom to make himself look stronger, because nothing has told us Shamrock is strong yet. People have to understand that. Yes, he's the commander of the Holy Knights. Yes, he has a Cerberus sword Delafruit. Yes, he looks like Shanks. Yes, he was talking shit to Loki. But nothing so far has said that pretty much that Shamrock is actually strong yet. He hasn't proven it. If anything, Loki has proven his strength more than Shamrock being locked up, because Loki's doing Future Sight. Loki has legendary Delafruit. Like, we already know, and Loki, it took the entire Albaf Giants to capture Loki. It took Shanks 6 years ago to capture Loki. Like, Loki has more hype power scaling wise than Shamrock, and Shamrock's the villain. I do think that there's a lot of foreshadowing to Shamrock being strong, but confirmation is everything. People like to see they like to see feats. So I think Shamrock defeating Big Mom would be cool and all right away. It would put her away, and it also make Shamrock look better if he's a final villain in Elbaf. So yeah, Big Mom is misunderstood like Loki. The world government set her up. I see Big Mom supporters. All the pink-haired women in One Piece appear to be bad, but become allies. Big Mom would be the only exception. The thing with Big Mom being an ally is it kind of goes against her final statement. Her final statement is questioning Roger of him starting the Great Pirate Era and promising to come back to defeat Usa's kid-in-law. Like, her final statement is she's not gonna become an ally. Her beliefs haven't broken. Kaido's beliefs broken because Kaido said Joy Boy's gonna be the man to defeat me. So when Kaido got defeated, this man had a hobby of committing suicide. So when Kaido jumps off a sky island and can't kill himself, but Luffy defeats him, what Oda always talk about, when a pirate gets defeated, his spirit gets broken. The interesting about Big Mom is her spirit wasn't broken when she lost the kid-in-law. First of all, it was a 2v1. Second of all, it was more so the explosion that took her out, and before the explosion she was talking a big storm. So it makes more sense for Big Mom to come back than Kaido, if I'm being completely honest. And I think her personality, she's still going to be driven. That's why I think she's going to be more so of an enemy than an ally. Do I think Big Mom could be an ally because her beliefs are similar to, how do I say this, what we saw in the Void Century Muriel? Big Mom wanted all races. If anything, Big Mom has some good traits. Is that it's her upbringing, Strusin as well. Like, honestly, it's a lot of like toxic things when it comes to Big Mom's how she was raised. But when you see Big Mom as a kid in her pure element, she was a good kid. She just got crazy when she got hungry for Semla and destroyed a whole village of giants. So yes, I do think that Big Mom, it's very low chance she becomes an ally, but I do see the good in Big Mom. She has a good side to her, if I'm being honest. Do you think Shamrock's Cerberus sword is a black blade? Hell no. I do not think that Shamrock's sword is a black blade. Honestly, Ryuma and Mihawk are the only characters so far with black blades, and I think Zoro is gonna get a black blade as well. I think Zoro will get a black blade, and I think that's gonna be it for now. I think maybe a character in the Void Century, maybe a character in the Ancient War, but there's not gonna be that many black blades. A black blade is a swordsmanship thing. It's not really necessarily a haki thing, in my opinion, because Roger would have had a black blade, Shanks would have had a black blade. It has to do with honestly armor and haki and your sword and Ryo. So, and it's an experience thing. It's not like you can turn a black blade just if you're incredibly strong and you're a great swordsman right away you can turn a black blade. It seems to be something that you do over time. Obviously the jokes write themselves for Mihawk painting his sword black, but yeah, I do not think that Shamrock's sword is a black blade.